Welcome to the Harmony Hub channel. Today we have a super topic, 10 golden rules for every woman. If you follow these rules, you will become the happiest woman. Your man will do everything possible to make your femininity and sexuality unfold, to develop you, to have trust, respect, harmony, mutual understanding, sensuality, love, and the whole range of emotions and feelings that you can fill your life with by applying these 10 rules. And so, let's begin. Rule number 1. I will never give a man every last bit of me. You're gonna say, how can you do that? In a relationship, everyone has to contribute equally to the man and the woman. Yes, but when a woman gives all of herself, her values, her feelings, her emotions, she gradually begins to betray herself in some way. A man perceives it as a surplus of some female condition. For example, a rich, successful man who has abundance he can afford to share with people he is engaged in charity and patronage. This shows that a man has reached a certain level in his development, in wealth, in abundance, and is ready to share. The person who receives help realizes that this accomplished person is sharing from his abundance. And when a woman in a relationship gives herself completely to a man, he doesn't even realize that she is doing it out of abundance. This is the first golden rule. I will never give you every last bit of myself. Because if I give you the last of me, I will be angry with you, I will be aggressive, I will be resentful, and I will demand that you pay me back. Second golden rule. I take care of myself first. Because if a woman does not take care of herself, she will not be able to give anything to a man. She'll be empty. She'll have nothing to bring to a relationship with a man. What do you mean, I'll take care of myself first? It does not mean that if there is the last apple left in the refrigerator, you will eat it under the blanket so that no one sees. For example, a woman who does not take care of herself, she does not rest. She does not allow herself inner mental and physical relaxation. She is constantly in a state of tension. That is, she does not take care of herself. And what will she come to a man with? With fatigue, with a headache, or with dissatisfaction? That is, she has nothing to give to this man. It is the opposite situation. When a woman has taken care of herself, when she is rested, realized, fulfilled, feminine, sexy, she can share all this with a man. She can share her energy because she is rested and restored and has something to give to a man. That's the second golden rule. I take care of myself and my condition, first of all, in my relationship with a man, so that I have something to share. The third golden rule for every woman. I am not afraid to tell a man about how he hurts me. This is really important because many women in a relationship with a man don't talk about their dissatisfaction. Let's imagine two partners standing across from each other at arm's length. Every reticence, resentment that you have displaced, trampled, and crushed, it alienates you, and sooner or later a chasm forms between you. And when you eventually want to shout to your partner to tell him how deeply he has hurt you, he won't hear you, because he was ready to hear you when you were close to each other. Therefore, the third golden rule for absolutely every woman says that if my man commits acts and actions that hurt me, I tell him about it, so that the distance between us does not increase, and so that this distance does not form an abyss between us, through which we will not be able to see and hear each other. Fourth golden rule. Every woman should designate her personal boundaries. What do you mean, boundaries? We are not talking about emotional boundaries, spiritual, physical, sexual boundaries. We're not talking about violence of any kind. We are talking exclusively about the fact that every woman should be alone with herself, with her thoughts, worries, doubts, anxieties. A woman should not be afraid to tell a man that I want to be alone. This is very important because when a woman goes into her world, into her thoughts, self-discovery, self-development, she is filled. And when a woman is filled, she has something to share with a man. She has a ground for conversation. She comes and tells. It can be compared to a journey. When, for example, your man went on a business trip and spent some time there, negotiations, meetings, and work. He comes back and the woman asks him questions. She gets interested because the man can tell you something very cool, funny, something you haven't seen, something you haven't encountered. And when a woman goes on a journey through her world, the world of development and self-discovery, then there is something to share with a man. She comes filled and begins to tell him what she has learned without him. Then a man discovers in a woman not only her sexuality and femininity, but also some soulful qualities. He discovers in her a great conversationalist and incredibly developed personality. He realizes that he is interested in her and he begins to appreciate this woman. Why? Because she's capable of learning about the world. And he does everything possible to be interesting for the woman, because if I stop being interesting for my woman, she can always satisfy her needs away from me. She can find other interests. This is very harmonizing to the relationship, very structuring to the relationship. So sticking to this rule, you will learn to be in harmony with yourself and in harmony with your man. The fifth rule for absolutely every woman is as follows: sex and truth. The fact is that millions of families have collapsed because a woman is not honest with her body, not honest with her sexuality, not honest with her desires. When you enter into intimacy with a man and live your moments of pleasure in self-deception, illusions, fantasies, and sacrifice, sooner or later, it affects the relationship. You lose the desire for intimacy, the man reacts aggressively to it. The behavior of the man in such moments is not predictable, leads to aggression and conflicts. Therefore, sex and truth is another golden rule for every woman. Do not be afraid to tell a man the truth. Choose the appropriate wording. That is, build your dialogue in such a way as not to offend a man, but at the same time to indicate what is significant for you in sexual intimacy with a man. You don't have to have sex if you don't want to. You don't have to do it because your man wants to. It is necessary to explain, and here it is very important to let the man understand that it is not about you, it is about my inner feelings, that I would not like it now. Also, very many women are afraid to tell a man about how they would like, what kind of touches, what kind of caresses, and in what format. I mean, don't be afraid of it. Remember this once and for all. Sex is about trust. That is, intimacy with a man is built solely on trust. Therefore, never deceive yourself and correctly convey your desires to your man. This is another rule that will help you to be happy. Sixth rule: fighting in a relationship is healthy. It really is. Many of you may say that it is impossible to call a relationship happy if there are scandals. Relationships in which people are silent and everything suits them is a relationship in a greater degree of self-deception. There is patience there, which gradually grows, and then as a nuclear explosion, these relationships are destroyed. There are families who have lived together for 15, 20 years, and when you ask them the question, how can you describe your relationship? What were they like? They answer that everything was great, everything was wonderful, we lived soul to soul, never quarreled, never argued. And when you ask these people to write out on a piece of paper the grievances that they have carried all these years through this relationship, both the man and the woman write no small lists. On paper, it looks like a list, and one can only imagine what state they have been in all this time. The hormonal and nervous system is always connected to such emotions. That is, there is an accumulative effect. Therefore, do not be afraid to fight with your man. Fighting does not mean hitting him with a frying pan. It means not being afraid to let your emotions out. It means not being afraid to raise your voice with the understanding that you are yelling at your man and not insulting him. No. When a woman talks about her feelings a little louder than is customary, there's nothing wrong with that. You throw out aggression. You make room for completely new states, so don't be afraid of it. It's normal. The seventh rule that will allow every woman to be happy sounds like this: development, development, and once again, development. When a woman develops herself, when she develops in those areas of life where she enjoys, it allows her to increase her femininity and sexuality and to grow her self-esteem even more. A woman who develops herself lives with the idea that she is not living the life of her man. It should be noted that many women live a man's life, his emotions, his values, his feelings, his aspirations. That is, she becomes a guide on the way to his happiness. And when a man reaches this happiness, his behavior is unpredictable. He can turn around and wave to her or not, but his attitude to her will change. Therefore, development, and once again, development. This is another golden rule for every woman. In this case, you should pay attention to the fact that development, it does not mean to develop in the work. That does not bring you pleasure and enjoyment. That is, a woman is not able to develop there. Her energy becomes very meager. She is not creative energy. She is empty. Your development should be only where you feel whole, only where you can say, I love what I am doing. When you are in touch with these states, you grow and you have a sense of gratitude to the man for allowing you to be yourself, for allowing you to incorporate values into your life. It often happens that in a relationship with a man, he forbids a woman to engage in some business, creativity, and the like. Remember, there is not a single person on planet Earth which could forbid you something. It is not a man who forbids you. It is you who forbid yourself. If you really want to do what you want to do, it is very valuable and dear to you. You will do it. So don't sacrifice yourself. The more sacrifice, the more careless attitude of a man to you. Eighth rule. I don't do anything for a man through can't. This is a very common situation. For example, cooking. For some reason, society has ingrained the notion that there are some kind of male and female responsibilities. In fact, there are no duties. There is a desire to take care of your loved one and cook for them. That is, I cook for you, not because it is my duty, but because I love you. And I, as a man, earn money for you, not because it is my duty, but because I love you. And when a woman does through can't do elementary things, she begins to hate such a man. We often hear from such women, how tired I am of this kitchen, how tired I am of these pots and pans, and so on. What do you think a woman in such a state fills the food she cooks for a man with? Her negativity. She does not put there love, tenderness. She does not put there the success of a man. So remember once and for all this, another golden rule. I never do anything in a relationship with a man through can't. The ninth rule for absolutely every woman. There will probably be tons of comments and lots of arguments under this video. Earlier, it was said that fighting is good for a relationship. So the ninth rule says that a woman should not be afraid to be angry with her man. Why? When two people build a relationship, they become so close to each other that there is literally a real merger. This merger suggests that each of us in a relationship can hurt our partner knowingly or unknowingly. And when a woman gets angry with a man in this strong merger, she does it not because she wants to offend him or hurt him, not because she wants to humiliate and insult him in some way. She does it for one simple reason. Her anger is a tool for defense. It's her tool. It shows that her partner has gotten very close to her. It shows that she's uncomfortable, that she's vulnerable. She doesn't seem to be afraid to show him her vulnerabilities, but at the same time, she has fears that the man might strike right into that pain. It is for this reason that a woman needs to be angry, so that a man realizes that any rapprochement with a woman is a responsibility. Any merging with a woman is also a responsibility. When a woman allows herself to show emotion, reprimand a man, and get angry with him, she frees up space for the man to fill. When a woman is not angry with a man, when she is afraid to tell him what she doesn't like, a man is not careful to hurt her, consciously or unconsciously. Once a woman begins to spell it out, a man is immediately structured. He realizes that any merger with a woman, any rapprochement with her is first and foremost a responsibility. So don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to fight. Don't be afraid to get angry. This is a normal state. Your hormonal system informs you about these states. Don't be afraid of it. If this is your man, if he loves you, you will never scare him away. He will simply realize that merging with you is a responsibility. Finally, the 10th rule, which comes out of the 9th. When you talk to a man after you've had some conflict or misunderstanding, talk about your vulnerabilities. Don't be afraid to do so. Many marriages break down because both men and women don't talk about their weaknesses, don't talk about their fears, don't talk about their resentments, don't talk about some anxiety states. This suggests that there is a lack of trust and intimacy in the relationship. It shows that there is no soul unity in the relationship. So the 10th rule states very simply, always talk to your man about how he is hurting you with his actions. Outline to him your vulnerabilities. Tell him that it is valuable to you, important, and dear. Dear women, I hope that these 10 rules, very simple to apply, will help each of you to achieve harmony in your relationship with a man, and first of all, harmony in your relationship with yourself. See you in the next episodes on Harmony Hub.